Hello, and good morning. My name is Jason. The channel is It's Probably Okay, and today we are starting our brand new Urban Shadows campaign. It is sort of a modern day magical realism urban fantasy, and this is a little bit darker than some previous games we've played. We played Mask, we played Star Wars. Those are all decidedly, all ages shows. This game is going to venture into somewhat more mature themes, may even touch on some challenging subject matter, which we also will address. Like, we have our behind the scenes, we have our lines and veils document. If you're not familiar with how that works, everyone can publicly or anonymously add things to that list. Hold on. Okay, voice, come on. Remember all the warm-ups we did earlier? No? Okay. Lines are things that go on that we just don't want to see in our game. Some examples of things that are on our lines and veils document are things like sexual violence. That's just not something that's going to be in our story. We don't need it. It just doesn't need to be there. So we're not going to have that. And then some other things include things like damage to eyes and ghosts. Right? So there are lots of things that are sort of big issues that we all wanted to be aware of, and then there are the things that each of us added that are little individual things that we're going to make sure that we, as a group of friends, don't inflict emotional harm on each other, because that's not nice. That means you're not a friend if you do it on purpose. Joey.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not even gonna refute that.
I mean, there's a
I
difference
know what I am.
between emotional harm with consent and emotional harm without consent.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
Right.
Yep.
And so the other half of that document is called veils, and those are things that we're okay with being in the game, but we don't want to have them all their gory detail, gory glory. For instance, one of the things on our list is sexual encounters, right? Just consenting, accepted sexual encounters. So not sexual assault, but an agreed upon activity between two or more people is okay. We're all fine with mentioning that that's happening in the game, but we are going to pan away, fade to black, whatever, the appropriate thing is, because we decided we don't want to have that in great detail. Now, that being said, this game will have some gory bits, right? This is a game of demons and vampires and werewolves and wizards, oh my. All right, and they all live in the city together, and it can get pretty bumpy. So there are all these powers that work in the city that are trying to get Torkler Canada broke me. Camera pans to fireplace. So that's why I was mentioning up at the top, we have some mature themes in this game. I'll find a much more succinct way to remind us of this at the top of each new episode. But I just want you to be aware that this is a little bit more, I almost said adult. Let's say grown up. This is not, adult means something different. Yeah, TVMA is exactly the term that we want. So that being said, let's go around. Introduce yourselves and just a little blurb about your playbook, and then we're going to jump into great detail. Pooja, do you want to go first?
Do you want us to read the blurb on our playbook?
If you want, or if you have a better way to say it, you just live your truth.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Pooja, and I am playing the Tainted playbook. My character's name is Asmita, and my blurb is this. Most Tainted remember a time before all this, before their souls ended up in the hands of demons and devils. Now they're something more than just human, working jobs for patrons who are never satisfied, never finished, demanding obedience. But a contract is a contract.
Excellent. We'll just go around how it is on my screen. Joey?
Hey, I'm Joey, and brace yourselves. Hope you're sitting down. I have some big shocking news for you all. I'm playing the Fae. I tried. They can attest. I was like, if anybody else wants it, please take it. But no one else left it, so I took it, and I'm going to run with it, and I'm not sorry about it. Just making you aware up front.
We have all embraced your Fae destiny.
Yes.
And have no desire to take it from you.
Like I said on Twitter, I have been burdened with glorious purpose. And I'll read my little blurb. Fickle and enigmatic, the Fae are impossible for a mortal to completely understand. Their ways are steeped in tradition, honor, and above all else, bargains. They do not simply appreciate these virtues, they embody them. So have fun with that.
Excellent. Jay.
Hey y'all, Jay here, and today I am playing the Imp. I believe this character's name is Belle. And the little blurb here is, not all demons serve the old masters. Some, known as imps, have stolen their freedom through tricks and loopholes, and now juggle their scams and schemes in pursuit of a better life. There are some advantages to being underestimated.
Love it. And last but certainly not least, Blythe Collin 93.
I don't have a name for my character because naming is hard, but I am playing the Vamp, and my little blurb is strong, fast, eternal in age, and insatiable in hunger. The vampire is a pure, unadulterated predator. They are a monster, a twisted reflection of the person they once were, doomed to walk the earth and feed their hungers. Keep your distance.
Yeah. I like that they fully lean into, this is not your sparkly nighttime friend, right? This is...
No, but I'm still going to be sexy AF.
No, that's sexy is different from sparkly nighttime friend.
No, this is much more traditional murderer vampire.
Yeah. Now, it is, I mean, it does harm in any which flavor you choose, but there is also the option, I think it says under your feeding move that you choose whether it's blood or emotions or something else. And so you could choose whether you're like an emotional vampire or actual blood-sucking vampire. Either way, feeding on someone risks doing damage to them, but it's pretty neat. I like this a lot.
Every time someone says emotional vampire now, I think of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, the energy vampire,
Yep.
Colin.
Colin.
Such a great character. And let me introduce the game a little bit. So Urban Shadows came out a bunch of years ago. We're playing the second edition quick start rules. So there are a few like bumps and boogers to get past here as we, just little things. The game's really far along here. But couple things that I'm just going to read you from the source material here. Urban Shadows is a political, urban fantasy tabletop role-playing game in which mortals and supernatural creatures alike vie for power in a modern-day city. Vampires, fairies, hunters, wizards, and more clash in the shadows, or make backroom deals for their piece of the streets and skyscrapers. And so a lot of this focuses on, political intrigue and tragedy, hardship, just... the struggle. And so that's where the sort of our content warning is going to land, is that these people are a little messed up and they're not always the good guys, but they're not the bad guys. So we're going to try and find that balance and tell a fun story about it. So, players, any questions about that stuff? Okay, chat, feel free. I'm loving the activity in chat today. Welcome, everyone. Garblag Games, definitely seen your name before. Welcome. Blythe Collin 93, welcome to the chat. Nice to see you here. Nightshade, welcome. Verk. Hey, Verk, how's it going? Nice to see you. That's somebody we know from the LA game convention of 100 years ago.
Oh, I miss it. Take me back.
Okay, so we're gonna go through our character creation process here, and I'm gonna stick as close to as I can the rules in the document here. Couple things I want to say before we jump in and you're trying to make decisions about stuff is, you have an archetype, you're thinking about your look and your demeanor and all that. That's stuff you all know how to answer. The stats, blood is like your fight stat, heart is your passion, charm, and charisma. Mind is your critical thinking and observational skills. Spirit is your connection to the other, right? Your ability to use magic and whatnot. Then you have 2 things regarded to your circle. There are 4 circles in the game: Night, Power, Wild, and Mortalis. And those are circles of sort of like-minded creatures, or at least like-sourced creatures. Within each circle, though, there are factions, and that's where you get actual sort of loyalty and teamwork. So like vampires and werewolves are both in the night faction or night circle, and that does not mean they're more inclined to work together. It means they understand each other, and they understand each other better than either one understands Mortalis. So that's kind of the function of how circles are meant to work. So within circles, there are factions, and factions are going to be like your werewolf pack, your wizard coven, your vampire nest, whatever it is. That's a faction within a circle. And then you have a circle rating, which is how well your character understands that specific circle, right? It's your understanding of them. And then you also have a circle status, which is what they think of you, right? Like you might understand the wild circle very well and have a high score there, but they think your name is Mud. And so you actually have a really low status there, even though you understand them really well. So you know how to get around that, but your ability to get them to do what you want is going to be inhibited. So that's the balance between circle rating and circle status. Okay? Mm-hmm. Similarly, XP in the game, if you all look at the first page of your character sheet, there's the 4 circles in a little square. The circle squares the circle. When you interact with that circle, you put a little check mark there. And when you have interacted with all 4, you erase them and take an advance. That's your XP in the game. You choose when it happens, right? Mm-hmm. It's not on a missed roll or doubles or anything like that. You get XP when you make circle moves on each individual circle. Now, you can interact with the same circle multiple times, but you only get the 1 check mark until you've marked all the others. So it also encourages you to sort of get out of your zone a little bit and make your moves and, just stick your nose where it doesn't belong. What could go wrong? What's flying by over here? Let's see. So we also will have, we'll have some introductory questions, moves. It's a PBTA game for those listening. If you didn't know, we're gonna have our introductions, and then we're gonna have debts. So a primary function of this game is debts, owing debts, and being owed a debt. That can interact between player characters, that can interact between NPCs. NPCs can owe each other debts, and that may be part of the background count of what's going on in your city. But an NPC can never call in a debt with another NPC, right? That can't happen behind this. That's just against the rules of the game. So if they owe each other a debt, that might come into play because you're saying, I'm going to do this for you, and then that debt they owe you should come to me because I want that debt. Right? So they might pay you with their debt that they're owed from someone else. It's kind of like influence in Masks just turned up to 11 because it's a really active, constant thing that we should think about.
Yeah.
So
it sounds and feels very much to like the strings in Monster Hearts.
oh yeah, it's more like strings than it is like influence. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Then we also have the city hub, and that it contains a lot of the sort of important aspects of our city. There are anchors in the hub. The hub has its own moves that you can use. You all have access to the hub moves. Oh yeah, we also have relationship questions in here. So, we've all played PBTA before, so I won't get into the weeds with that stuff. The basic moves are all pretty similar to what we're aware of. One thing I'll point out is Let It Out is Roll's Spirit, and that is basically the use magic roll. So when you want to do something weird, there is like a base version of Let It Out, but on your character sheet, there is also a section that says when you let it out, you have some of these options. However, those might move you to marking corruption. Your corruption track is triggered a number of different ways. There is also a corruption move on your character sheet, unique to your character. And when you do that thing, you mark corruption. And there's a component to this that your character, we always have the debates around like, oh, player agency, blah, blah, blah. There is some of this that's out of your control. And that's a premise of this game that we're going to, like, just accepting that as the premise makes it easier to understand, like, why this stuff is happening, because you might end up owing someone a debt that you didn't have any say in. Right. And so there's a component where they might come to cash in that debt and you're like, I didn't do any, like, that's not my fault that I owe you this debt. Well, that doesn't matter. Right. And that can kind of happen in a realistic story too, right? Like, well, so-and-so said you would do this for me and so now you owe me. And you're like, I don't owe you. So you have the option of going with it and seeing what happens when you supply that debt. You also have the option of rolling to just filch and not go with the debt. So that's where your agency returns a little bit. But there's nothing you can do if Blythe owes Jay a debt and Pooja does something for Jay. Jay could say, okay, I'm going to pay you in this thing that Blythe owes me, and now Blythe owes you, Pooja. Right? And there's nothing Blythe could do about that. It just sucks. Maybe. Who knows? So that is a big component of the game that I just want to make sure we're all aware of and that the audience is aware of, that there's part of this that is not in your control. And we just have to sort of embrace that for what it is, because it's exciting and scary. Let's see. There's nothing unusual about the PBTA dice rolls in this. It's all, 10 plus, 7 to 9, 6 minus. That's all normal. There are also circle moves, and these, when you generally want to interact with a circle, there are several circle moves you could choose from. There are debt moves, where when people owe you a debt, you can try to cash in a debt. You can, there's just a whole thing around that. And then there's city moves, that happen during, like, they help the factions advance the story, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, skipping ahead a little bit here. And also, players, I don't expect you all to memorize all this stuff. Mostly, I'm going to ask you, what do you do? And then I'll let you know if that needs to trigger a move that you're not aware of. And we'll do it that way. So, I mean, if you want to look through it, page 11... Well, I guess really page 10 starts talking about basic moves, and then that rolls into circle moves, in the quick start guide, debt moves, right? You can do someone a favor, they owe you a debt. Interfere in someone's business is the name of a move. I love it. Refuse to honor a debt is that sort of out that you have if it really is something that you're like, no, there's no way I'm going to do this. And then there's cash in a debt. All right. Now, this is an important detail in that cash in a debt works differently with PCs and NPCs. With a PC, when you cash in a debt with another player character, you can make them answer a question honestly, do you a favor at moderate cost, right? So not like throw themselves into traffic for you, but a pretty significant favor. Lend a hand. You can make them lend a hand to your efforts. You can make them get in the way of someone else's efforts. You can make them erase a debt they hold on someone else, or give you a debt they hold on someone else. So those are how you can interact with PCs. Now, when you have debts from an NPC, you can make them answer a question honestly, arrange a meeting with an NPC in their circle, grant you a worthy boon or useful gift, erase a debt they hold on someone, or give you a debt they hold on someone else. So it's similar, but slightly, some significant differences between PCs and NPCs with debt consolidation. Then city moves happen as part of the faction turn. There's a moment in the game where we say, okay, time passes, and then circles and factions take time to do something. And that is largely what we're going to do. We're not going to have sessions where we go like 6 sessions and 2 days have passed in game. And, classic RPG stuff like that is, just part of the part of the story. But a big component of this game is almost that episodic, weekly TV show thing where like when you pick up the next episode, you don't expect it to be like they paused the story and then picked up exactly where they left off on the next episode, right? There's always that assumption of some time has passed. Every once in a while, a show will pick up right there, and that's fun and interesting. But there's always that assumption that the people have been living their lives for a few days at least, and that's how that's going to work. Let's see. Dorkle Canada, what's Urban Shadows 24? Is that
talking about
It
how
would be like
the
the
show
show.
24
Oh.
every episode is 1 hour?
I thought you were talking about something on page 24 that I should mention. I love it. Thank you, Dorkle Canada. That's beautiful. So there are city moves. We'll get to those when it's time to do that. There's advancement. When you have moved on every circle, then you can check all those and take an advancement. And all of that is going to be around, trying to earn respect, whether that's they fear you or they respect you or like you, whatever methods you have employed, the circle knows you better, right? And all you want all 4 circles to know who you are. You all are not nobodies in this scene, right? You all are dangerous players that the NPCs and the city think about, right? People know who you are. And that's why your lives are complicated and difficult. You're already low-level famous within the dark shadows of the city. That being said, this is a city full of like regular human beings, right? And most human beings kind of feel like there are things that go bump in the night, but they don't know for sure. Most people have not seen a vampire or a werewolf or a demon, and they've never seen magic, but they just are like superstitions are real, like that's kind of how people live their lives. And we'll get into that a little bit more when we define our city. Also, something we want to point out is that this game has something called intimacy moves. In actual Apocalypse World, in the original game, they're called sex moves. In Monster Hearts, they're called intimacy moves.
I think they're called sex moves.
Sex moves. So I like that these are called intimacy moves because that that disconnects it from sex necessarily, right? Like it could be sex. It could be that you performed ritual magic or, went to an awesome concert together and really bonded over something, right? Like the intimacy can be a lot of things. And an intimacy move also might not be triggered just because you had sex with someone, right? Like that may not have been an intimate moment for you. And that's just something I'm going to ask. Now, as we mentioned, we're not going to get any of the gory details of your encounter unless it's something inherently non-sexual. But the point is we have to consider these moments of intimacy because they're moments of vulnerability and they say something about our characters. And everybody has an intimacy move, a unique move on their character sheet that says what happens when you have an intimate moment with someone. And that can be with NPCs, it can be with PCs. If it's with another player character, both of your intimacy moves should trigger. So that can be exciting. And sometimes when you have a moment of intimacy with someone, they give you a debt, right? Like they owe you a debt. Like, wow, okay, that's shitty, but that's what happens, right? So just be aware you're going to collect lots of debts on lots of different people. You're going to owe debts to lots of different people, and it's not the end of the world, right? It's just a free-flowing debt economy, and you're going to have the opportunity to cash things in. You're going to have the opportunity to refuse a debt if you want. You have the opportunity to just like do a favor for someone that you don't like very much and just to like get them off your back, right? Like you might just carry that out and get it done with. And we talked about corruption a little bit. Corruption is another track on your sheet. Corruption, I want you to know ahead of time, this is like the evil ascendance move. There are a couple great PBTA games with similar types of corruption moves. I really, really like the one from Urban Shadows, and it was certainly an inspiration when I was thinking about ascendance moves. So corruption, you can gain a point of corruption. Also, this is going to be a big inspiration for doing dark side points in Jedi Gods. So this is a really cool way to do this. Now, with corruption moves, there is no reverse, right? There are a couple moves in the game that say like erase a corruption checkbox, right? That's not very much. But overall, there's just no reversing out of your corruption. And you can stop trying to gain corruption, right? There are very few things that force you to take corruption outside of your own decision, all right? This is one of those things where you're really going to make the decision to gain a corruption. When you get 5 corruption, you get a corruption move, which are very powerful and often get you more corruption. So, if you were to fill up, I think there are 4 corruption moves that you can take. Mm-hmm. And if you were to take the 5th one, your character retires as a threat. They are not your character anymore. They're my character. I'm the player now. And you get to make a new character because your old character has lost themselves. They're just gone. They're in the city, and they're dangerous, and they know the rest of the player characters very well. That should be frightening. If you see a friend sliding down the corruption track, will you say something to them? Will you distance yourself from them so they don't hate you when they eventually turn?
But what you do is you make best friends with them so that they don't turn on you specifically.
Make friends with the monster is an option, right? I love the corruption. I think this is like, for me, this is the flagship component of Urban Shadows that is just freaking brilliant. I love it. Dorkland Canada, look, a slope. It doesn't look that slippery.
Also, sounds a lot like working in theater. What a mood, Dorkland Canada.
What a mood.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This game does have harm and violence, right? And it has like, you have like 5 hit boxes, right? We'll deal with that when we get into a fight, but you can get killed just from outright damage, right? Unlike games like Mask, or even like, I know Monster Hearts has harm, but it's not really the point of the game.
Yeah, it's more about emotional harm.
Right. Whereas in this, people will try to kill you, right? Like that will be a thing that you have to deal with. There are lots of ways to heal harm. You have armor. There are also weapons that are armor piercing. And you may have something on your playbook that says, you need to mark a vulnerability, right? So as the vamp, you're going to decide, is that wood? Is it silver? Is it crosses, right? Because you're a vampire, we should pick something, right? And if somebody attacks you with those things, it's going to bypass your armor. It's going to make healing more difficult, all that kind of stuff, right? And all of you are kind of supernatural types. So I would love to have, even if it doesn't specifically list a vulnerability on your character sheet, I would love to have some note of something that your character fears as a substance, right? Maybe it's holy water, just think about that. Just put that on the back burner and come up with something. Oh yeah, so if you don't have natural armor, you may want to get some armor as gear. But understand, so one armor can be fairly light and inconspicuous. Like a bulletproof vest is something you can put under a jacket, that type of thing. If you are wearing armor worth 2 points, that is like riot gear or a full plate knight armor, right? Like it looks ridiculous and or scary, and someone's gonna call the cops, and that's bad, right? Like that's, it's like you are doing a big weird thing if you're walking around wearing 2 points of armor. Now, there are lots of playbooks that say you naturally have 2 armor because you're a vampire and bullets are not a thing for you, right? Then that's not the same thing. It's just if you get gear and you're wearing armor, 1 point is generally not very, like people might go like, she has a bulletproof vest on. That's weird. Actually not that weird. Don't look at her. But 2 points of armor is just like super weird and everyone will look. It's like not subtle. It's like you made a statement. Now, all that being said, you could take a lot of harm in one hit. That is possible, especially if you get hit with your vulnerability. So there's a thing in the game where you can take a scar, and scar represents you pushing through the immediate situation. I'm reading part of this. You can ignore all of the harm you just took. Not any harm you already took, right? It doesn't erase anything that you marked down. But if you take 3 or 4 harm, I highly suggest taking a scar. But you can only take 4. And they are shattered is -1 to your blood score. Crushed, -1 to your heart score. Fractured, -1 to your mind score. And broken, -1 to your spirit score. That is a permanent subtraction. So something to be aware of. It can save your life, but it also has a forever consequence. There are a couple of things in the game that will get rid of a scar. Not many. And that's just worth noting. Okay, so. Oh yeah, there are also end moves where if your character retires or is killed or falls to corruption, then that we'll have to look at those. Also, as the Master of Ceremonies, the GM in this game is called the MC, and great PBTA games have an agenda, a list of principles and basic moves for the MC. And I want to read off some of the agenda and principles. I won't read off all of them. Y'all can get the document and read it, and folks at home too. But I want you to understand more clearly what my role in the game is. Right? So my agenda, these are like the top 3 things that I need to be aware of, is make the city feel political and dark, keep the player characters' lives out of control. That's my job. And then my favorite one in all PBTA games, play to find out what happens, right? I can't over prep. I need to not over prep is what I mean. I can over prep, but I should not. And then some of the principles that I find really poignant here, display the whole city from skyscrapers to slums. Push the characters together, even across boundaries. Put the characters at the center of conflicts. Okay, now here's one I'm not going to do. Name everyone. Give them all drives. I think that can be a mistake for a GM. I think it's possible to have too many named characters, and that can muddy the waters. So that's fine. I just disagree with that line. Ask lots of questions and build on the answers. Yes, do that. Be a fan of the player's characters. I am also that, right? I'm not here to win. If I want to win, I just win. I'm the MC. I can do what I want. I could run you over with a Zamboni. This is a good one. Dirty the hands of all involved. Right? Everyone is in
Very
this.
Tarantino. I like that.
Yep. And give everything a price, especially friendship.
Oof.
Okay?
Wow.
That is the kind of stuff I've been directed to do as your MC. All right?
So
I
it's
won't
not
get
your
into all
fault.
my basic moves. You'll learn those as we go. And then if the action slows down and we're not sure what to do, I can use an NPC to cash in a debt. I can push you all to hit the streets, right? If you're trying to find information, we're never going to have I love this quote in here. Well, we just don't know who killed this guy, so we can't do anything about it right now. That's not going to stop the story, right? We're going to hit the streets. We're going to have something happen, because if you roll the dice, something happens, right? Even on a 6-. There's never a, well, you whiffed it. You don't see the really important clue that is going to stall the story for an hour. So that's just another encouragement to play a certain way. Yeah, okay, good. That's all I need to say about that. I have a whole section here on creating and managing NPCs. There's a heading here that says, when NPCs attack. It's just great. When good NPCs go bad.
What to do when you find yourself awash in NPCs?
Just put the spin cycle on. Then, so one thing we'll do, when time passes, the MC conducts a faction turn. And the PCs make city moves, highlighting how their characters use the downtime in the city as time passes. Each PC makes a number of moves equal to their highest status. So your circle status, right? I think all of you start with a status of 1. And that is your primary circle, right? Everyone should know what their primary circle is, because none of your other stati can be even equal to that. They all have to be at least 1 lower than your primary status, right? So
How
if
would
you
we
have,
know what our primary is?
it's the one that equals 1 right now.
I have 2 that equal 1.
No, that's your
circle score.
Oh,
Yeah, you see the other. It's right under that.
Yeah, it's like starting character stats, starting circles, starting status.
oh, okay, there it is. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes that. Sorry, I'm trying to absorb all of
No,
it.
there's a lot of data on the playbook. Don't apologize.
Yeah, because there's the circles has the stats on the top are what we know about the circles, and then the status, the little 3-dot thing below, is what they know about us, or
Let me
what they
pull up
think
a
about
character
us.
sheet, so I'm saying
I
it
really
right.
wish
Yeah.
I had
Right?
proof right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the
so-
numbers in the circles are our circle score, and the circles that we're bubbling in are our current status within that circle.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, yeah, so let me walk through the character sheet with you a little bit, okay? So right at the top, you've got name, demeanor, look, right? Everyone see where I am with that? Okay,
Yeah.
so stats, you're going to fill those 4 in with, on page 2, there's a bar down the left side that says starting in, so it's name, look, demeanor, and then the next one is starting character stats. You're going to use those 4 numbers and then add 1 to one of them. All right. And then starting circles, that's those the things just to the right of your stats on the character sheet. And you're going to use, right after starting character stats, there's starting circles. And these, the circles themselves are like how well you understand those circles, if that makes sense. And so like this one has, I'm looking at the aware, I think. The aware has Mortalis 1, because they're part of the Mortalis group. Night 0, Power 1, Wild -1. And so that's what you would write across in the circles, the big circles. The circles. Folks at home, you really should pull up these character sheets. It's a trip. But then the next thing after that is your circle status. And that you can fill in a little, like you just use those little status bubbles, right? So there's like the big Mortalis circle, and then there's 3 little status dots under it. And so if you, so like the aware would fill in 1 little Mortalis status dot, and then they wouldn't be able to raise status anywhere else until they get Mortalis to status 2, right? Because you can't have any of the other circles even equal to your primary circle.
Okay.
So what happens if we change circles?
We could cross that bridge. There's a thing for that. It's just extremely unlikely. Because the circle is defined by, it's not like a loyalty thing, right? A circle is like a group of, it's like a category more than anything, right? And like you can change factions and teams and groups and things like that, but like vampires and werewolves, even if a werewolf changes to another werewolf pack or something, they're still understood as like their wants and desires and needs are based in understanding how the night circle works. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I sorry, I was just, because like one of the first advancements you can take is to change your circle.
Oh, rad. Okay.
So it doesn't matter. I just won't do it.
Yeah, if we did that, we would just move your status dots to make sure they match the rule.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do anyway. And I'm the boss of everything, so I can do whatever I want.
No lies detected.
Okay. Oh, just catching up on chat. Oh, hey Eli, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Oh yeah, Minerva Fox, RPG artist extraordinaire and comic book artist and all kinds of stuff. Did the cover art, front and back cover for Demigods. Is doing a drink and draw stream tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Those are always entertaining, and I highly recommend tuning in. I'm going to tune in for my very first one. I've only caught pieces of them before, and I'm very excited to watch live this week. So hopefully you can come join us there. Okay, so I know there's. Does everyone feel confident in their stats, their circles, and circle statuses?
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so.
Oh, right. Jay has done his aforementioned. He told us ahead of time that he would need to disappear for a minute. So, he has done so. All right. So, let me go through there was like a character creation order, but I think we could just walk through the playbooks. We all know how this works well enough. So let's walk through our
what's a
playbooks.
playbook?
Ask questions as we need to. And we'll come back and do introductions with like name, pronouns, demeanor, look, all that kind of stuff. We'll come back to that. Just be thinking about it while we're working on other stuff. So with your stats, you just write down the row of numbers that you're given on page 2 and add 1 to them. Right? Don't forget the +1.
Yep.
And then with your starting circles, you also get to add 1 to those. And again, the top part of those is how well you understand that group. That can be, there's no limit to what that rating should be. Okay? And then the status dots, you should only have 1 status dot filled in across the board, right? And that is your primary circle.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
And
how do we know what our armor is?
well, you have 0 unless you get something that gives you armor.
Okay.
So
I don't think I get one any then.
The next thing we would need to do is, I believe the next thing on everyone's playbook is going to be to choose your moves. For instance, the Fae has to take fairy magic, and then you get 2 more from the list. So
Yes.
But yeah, we'll just take a second, look over the moves. I'd love to hear what you all pick. This is going to be fun.
You've
I'm
never
torn.
chosen
I'm
a good
torn between-
playbook when you want them all. When
Yes.
you're just like,
Right.
gimme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked one move pretty much right away. The second one, like I'm torn between 2 and it's killing me.
I guess, like, for me, it's hard because I'm like, these all sound valuable, but I haven't played this game before. So I'm like, and this, I guess it's a little metagamey for me because I'm always like, I want to know what will actually help me in the long run.
Sure. I mean,
Cool.
I'm happy to give advice, but I also, like, you know, we're going to find a way to make everything work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna do
And
cold-blooded.
if we get into play and you're like, wow, this move sucks and I wish I hadn't taken it, we'll just switch it, right? Like that. I mean, not 5 episodes in, but like, you know, if we get a couple scenes in and you're like, oh, this is dumb and I don't like it, we'll, you know, we can fix it. But well, for instance, for the vamp, you may or may not want the Haven. The Haven is good, but Jay's character, the imp, has to take, like, he has a whole establishment, like a bar or something, right?
Okay.
That's like the point of his character, is he has a place. And so you could have a Haven and even have it be like part of his bar or separate from a bar because you don't want to be tied to that one thing. But that's one thing to consider about that type of move, is Jay's character has a place.
Yeah, I'm kind of between the irresistible or in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Those are I have cold-blooded. I took that because I have the worst spirit on earth.
Yep.
So I took that move. But it, like, I was like, in the neighborhood sounds interesting. So it's just like, if someone owes me a debt, I can cash in the debt before rolling, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I just like the idea also of being irresistible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the +1 heart is probably going to feel less rewarding than in the neighborhood.
Okay.
The irresistible is great, but what is your heart score now?
It's a 1.
Yeah, I mean, going from a 1 to 2 is a jump in PBTA, but you know, you can also get that with an advancement later on.
Yeah.
That
was kind of my thoughts. Like, the keep your friends close also sounds like it could be useful because my mind is 0.
Mm.
And I made my blood stat my 2.
Yep.
So I'm kind of like, that could also be good, but then it's like I have 2 of the same move where it's just like roll blood instead of this other stat.
Well, I mean, the playbook is designed to let you lean into that, right? Like
That's true. You know what? I'll
not
take
an
that
accident.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take keep your friends close then.
Okay. Just note that if you're not helping them indulge their vices and you want to figure someone out, you're still going to have to roll mind.
Yeah, no, I'm a vampire. I want them to indulge all the time.
Great. And
My job.
yeah. Well, and also what I was trying to say is you can still like figure someone out by rolling mind if it's not like if you don't have the opportunity to help them engage in vices. Do you know what I mean? Well, you want to make sure you know your options as a player.
No, I know, but I'm like, it's hard. It's hard because I'm like, there's that. The in the neighborhood one sounds fun too. This is difficult. This is tricky.
I think in the neighborhood, you're going to get a lot more mileage out of that, especially early on, as we're sort of figuring out the setting and the story and everything.
Then I will do.
That's really good.
I think I have my moves figured out. There's one I'm definitely taking the first advancement I can get, but that was hard.
Okay,
It's so difficult. It's like they're just so good. Though I know that I'm definitely taking. I think I figured out my first two is going to be tongued and silver. When you figure someone out by tempting them with power, roll with heart instead of mind. And I just love that, like tempting them with power.
Yeah.
Bit. And then dark bargain is the second one. When you seal a bargain with someone in smoke and blood, roll with heart. On a hit, you infuse the agreement with demonic force. And then you get to pick things that happen. And the miss is the bargain displeases the powers you called upon to sanctify the deal. You must perform an act of contrition before you can invoke their influence again.
Rad.
You just gotta love things that are like, yeah, sure, go ahead, try it.
Yeah.
Try it. I'm sure it'll all work out. Nothing bad could ever happen here.
Okay, so that's cute. Tongued and silver, dark bargain. I believe you've left something off of your list. Would you like to tell us about your other thing?
The move that you get automatically is the devil inside. When you assume your demon form, roll with blood. On a 10 plus, you pick 3, 7 and 9 pick 2. On a miss, you pick 1, and you owe your patron a debt. That's on top of the 3 debts your patron starts with over you, by the way. Or you go without your form. And the things that you can pick are like weapon movement senses, some armor. You can heal some, +1 going forward. But if you are working a job for your patron, you can pick an additional. And if you mark some corruption, you can also pick some more.
Yeah, you could potentially pick 5 out of the 6 things. So
it just all depends on what bargains you are willing to make. Something Belle would not know anything about, I'm sure. Or Joey's character.
No, not even a little bit.
Nope. This is all news to me. I don't understand.
Speaking of Joey, tell us about your Fey moves.
Yeah, so my Fey move that I get automatically, like Jason said, was Fairy Magic. You have access to gifts of your court, powers that call upon your homeland's magic and wonder. Select your powers from the list provided. We'll get there in a second. Whenever you use a fairy power, choose one. Suffer harm. So 1 harm. It has parentheses AP. What is AP?
That's armor piercing. It ignores your armor.
Got it. Or I can mark corruption, or I can give my monarch a debt. So that's fun and fine. I'm sure that's not a problem whatsoever. And then I can choose 2 more. So the 2 I chose are In Our Blood. When you mislead, distract, or trick someone through lies of omission or clever misdirection, roll with heart instead of mind, which I'm going to do because I have a 2 heart and a 0 mind, which is exactly what you want. And then the one I chose, I was torn between Scales of Justice and Words or Wind. I decided to go with Words or Wind. You know instantly if someone has broken their word to you or reneged on a deal you've made. Take a debt on them and take +1 ongoing to claim what you deserve from them or their allies. So I basically become the Fey Terminator. And that's super great and super fun. And we'll get to my Fey powers.
The Termifader?
The Termifader.
Termifader. I like it.
But yeah.
And what have you decided things about your court yet?
Yes, I have decided, because I can't help myself and you give me this option. My court is Baroque and formal. The monarch's standing is represented by, I'm still making a decision on this one. I'm leaning towards a crown, because who doesn't love a crown?
Yeah.
But my rival is a former lover.
Okay.
And I know nothing about them yet, but will soon.
Nice.
I may have a fan casting though, if I can remember their name. So we'll get back to that.
Okay. And have you chosen your fairy powers?
I have chosen like 2 of the 3. I think I'm. Quick question, bit. I can't think of the word. Metagaming. That's the word. Is anybody else able to heal anybody else?
What's healing? I don't
Okay.
understand.
I can drink your blood and heal me.
Yeah, that's not gonna help.
I'm sure we could work something out.
No, yeah, that's why I'm taking it, because guess what? You're gonna all owe me debts. We need that wound healed. So I'm gonna take Nature's Caress, which heals 2 harm.
Didn't say I couldn't heal myself.
Unfortunately, I can't heal myself, which is bullshit.
Oh boy, that's not going to be useful at all.
No.
That's not going to. No.
I'm gonna take Wither, which basically lets me deal damage with fairy power. And I'm going to choose. I'm torn. I'm still choosing between Glamorous or Bedlam. Glamorous, I can create illusions to fool the senses. The effects don't last long, but they are compelling. But I cannot disguise or conceal myself or my actions, because we're all about truth. So why would I disguise myself? And the last one, Bedlam, you can touch a target and place it under a specific emotional state of my choice. Mark corruption to have that emotion directed towards a target of my choosing. So I'm still making that decision.
Sure. I'm also okay with if we get into gameplay and you go like, oh, well, I wish I'd taken Glamours. Check. You know, like if you want to leave one in reserve and pick it when you need it.
Okay.
As your character sort of, discovering themselves.
I dig it.
Okay. Jay, have you had a chance to go through the Imp playbook?
I have indeed. I have many. I've gone through and done many things. And
Okay.
have some ideas.
Tell us about your moves.
Okay, so the imp moves I get naturally business as usual. When time passes or at the start of the game, roll with mind. On a hit, my usual operations provide an opportunity to advance one of my schemes. I have many schemes. Or generate a new scheme, my choice. On a 10 plus, I get to pick one of the following. A loyal customer reveals the secrets of a powerful NPC, my choice. An NPC who owes me a debt appears to make good on their obligation. Or a status 3 NPC of my circle offers a debt for my services. On a miss, though, one of my schemes attracts the attentions of a competent rival or puts my family and friends in danger, my choice. I think we know which one I will be choosing on the regular, because I'm a demon, so I'm not cool. The 2 that I chose were measure your mark. So when I figure someone out, I can add the following questions to the list of questions I get, which is, what pressing need do you have that I can address? And what's the most valuable thing you'd offer for sale? On a miss, I can ask one from the list, but I come off as sleazy or suspicious. My choice. Probably sleazy.
Excellent.
And I also chose, sorry, Joey, I'm a fucking demon.
That's the title of the move.
That's the move, which allows me to ignore all the harm in a scene. And at the end of each scene, I can clear my faint harm box.
All the harm the first time you
The
suffer
first time.
harm.
The first time I suffer harm, I can ignore it completely because I'm a fucking demon.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Dogma reference. That's beautiful.
My first move, my main move that it makes me take is Eternal Hunger, and if I drink blood, and roll successfully, I can remove harm from my tracker.
It's so great.
This is good. Okay, Jay, what can you tell us about your establishment?
You know what I've been thinking, because bars are so barry. And I know they're useful, but
Are they barring?
Let's mix it up. I'm thinking that I've got one of them needful things. I've got one of them shops of curios and items that are often cursed and or magical. Some of which I sell to other people in the magic community. Spells, potions, things like that. Some of which I sell to unsuspecting mortals who just wanted to be prettier, and now I own their soul.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
All right. So what are the services you offer?
So the two services that I offer are appraising and selling magical items, objects, and I think that there's a nice sideline in transporting otherworldly creatures. That there's
okay.
a little bit of
Like a horrible Fantastic Beasts
exactly.
situation.
Like, listen, you could use the word smuggler or scoundrel as the general umbrella of what I do.
Okay. And what are your two assets?
The two assets I wanted was definitely a skilled bodyguard.
Oh, cool. NPC.
Sometimes deals go badly. And a magical dead zone.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that makes it safe to have all this nonsense in your shop.
And it's also, I'm actually thinking that's more of like a safe room.
Okay.
Off the shop.
Sure.
Where
like an oubliette.
Like an oubliette or like a panic room.
Yep.
Just because sometimes these deals don't work out, and I would rather not get stabbed.
Yeah. Okay. And have any troubles plagued your business?
Oh, have they? My demonic ex-liege would really like me to come back. And my reputation is not the best. I've got a besmirched reputation that complicates my deals. People know Belle is not quite to be trusted.
Excellent. Okay, cool. We'll come back to full introductions. Let's hear about the vamp moves.
Oh, yeah. I ended up taking the ones. So I ended up taking Cold-Blooded in the Neighborhood.
Okay.
So my main move that I have to take is Eternal Hunger. So you hunger for human blood, flesh, or emotions. Pick one. When you feed on someone, roll with blood. And if I'm successful, I can do all 3 of these or only 2 of these. You heal 1 harm or take +1 forward. You learn a secret about your prey. Your prey doesn't suffer 3 harm. If I miss, I just murder them, and everyone suffers.
Yeah. So that
Right.
The implication there is when you feed on someone, they take 3 harm unless you take that option.
Yep.
So.
And then I took Cold-Blooded. So when you keep your cool by flaunting mortal social conventions and expectations, roll with blood instead of spirit. And I also took In the Neighborhood. When you hit the streets with someone who owes you a debt, you can cash the debt before rolling to add a +3 to your roll.
Awesome.
So,
And have you looked through how your web works?
I'm trying to figure that out as we're going. I'm also just going to keep blood as my main, as what I feed on, because I'm playing a vamp. I'm just going on.
Totally cool.
And my character's name is Celeste. I did name her. It's not her real name, but it's her name.
Noted.
She changed it when she became a vampire.
All right.
She was like, I need a better name. But for the web, I have not quite figured that out.
That's fine.
It seems like I get a gang, I collect people.
Yeah. Anytime someone comes to you for a favor, interferes with your business, or you become intimate with, it winds up in your web. And that can be good. That can be bad.
I mean, I like my end move is that all my agents and allies relentlessly just pursue whoever killed me until justice is served. So.
Yeah, end moves are super fun. We'll get into corruption moves. I want to save those for when somebody actually triggers corruption, and reveal that on the day. So I want to introduce the city a little bit, which is as far as I've got it. We originally had talked about using some of the Decima cards to help flesh out our city a little bit. There are actually a lot of tools in this that I want to experiment. Like, I want to try using this stuff. It's a little bit complicated is the wrong word, but there's like a lot of moving parts here. So I want to try and use all of this before I bust out the Decima cards. We may still get some cards if we need to like come up with new locations and stuff like that. But they have some tools in here for doing that. So I'm gonna stick to that for now. So here is the deal about your city. And I'm still coming up with a good name for the city. Chat, I'm open to suggestions. But there was a small collection of islands off the coast of California. Those islands are still there. Interestingly, there were 5 islands that, if you were to connect the dots, let's say, looks an awfully lot like a 5-pointed star. And in fact, a city has grown up on these 5 islands. They're not quite the size we're not talking like a Manhattan, right? Mm-hmm. But each of the islands is more like maybe like a Catalina sized. Not most of them aren't long and skinny. They're just sort of round-ish islands. They're pretty big though, right? And the people believe, at least, that the islands have been expanded in the way that, Hong Kong has created new land outside of the to increase the border of Hong Kong a little bit. Some of it's through like trash reclamation and building up sandbars, and then building onto that and having it build up. Really, a bunch of that's been handled through magic, and that's a thing. Also, there is a bridge out to the city. It's a long, skinny bridge going out across the ocean. And then there are bridges from each island to 2 other islands, which, as they intersect, looks a lot like a pentagram from above. But it's weird that nobody's noticed that. Maybe it should be called 5-Star City. I might have to think about that. What's that?
Oh, it's like there's like so many cities where there's like a 5 points where there's like 5 roads that intersect.
Yep.
Just reminded me of
that. And every Yelp review wants 5 stars. So
yep.
So this is a city that, there are other cities in the world like this where factions and circles are really in control of things, and mortals trundle along through their lives believing they have some sense of agency and choice about what happens to them, when in fact the city is primarily controlled by the various circles. Each one of the islands is primarily one circle, and then there's the 5th island, which is kind of it's a hub, not in the sense that it's in the middle, but it's just on one of the points of the stars, probably the one closest to the coast, with the bridge that comes in. That is like a neutral, safe zone. Again, all of this is primarily only known to the supernaturals in the city, right? The humans who live here just live in a cool futuristic city where there's bridges all over the place, and, isn't that neat? They just live their lives. The city in mortal affairs is known for exporting wave-generated electricity. Right, so it has this like tidal wave generator. It's not generating waves, but it's using tidal pull to push turbines, and is exporting that energy. Even in spite of the fact that this huge city is all lit up, it has energy to spare. Maybe they even claim a combination of like there's a geothermal vent and this perfect spot for tidal generators and all kinds of stuff going on. In reality, some deals have been made to generate power out of nothing. And so they, the city of Quintus, Celestial. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Quintessential. That's probably like the main grocery store in the city. But yeah, maybe Quint something. There could be
What
something
about like
there.
Quinsulae, combining Quint and Insulae, which is Latin for island, as Dark Canada pointed out.
Or
Quinsulae.
Oh.
Penta?
didn't
Yeah,
know
I was
that.
thinking Penta.
We could do something with Penta.
Penta Island.
Yep. Okay.
I thought about Penta, but I thought that may be too close to Pentos from Song of Ice and Fire.
Who remembers that? That was a thing? I don't
Anybody
remember.
even read that? All right. Those are all good ideas. We'll keep that in mind as we go forward. So this is your city, right? It's these 5 pretty big islands. They're not like little bitty things, right? It's each island is probably big enough for 80 or 100,000 people, right? Like, I mean, they're pretty dense as well, but it's a city of 500,000 people, right? That's
No joke.
it's not Los Angeles or New York, but it's a pretty good sized city, especially considering how compact it has to be. And it's growing. Like, people are moving here all the time. It's very popular. People think this is great. It's so neat. It's out on the ocean. They're ecological. This is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Is making this city. Is there anything we want to clarify or ask about the city before we move on to introducing our characters? Because otherwise the technology level is about what we know. I like to say like 5 minutes in the future, I'm not going to take your cell phones away. Has anyone here seen a movie that would have been 95% shorter if people had cell phones?
Everyone. Every single movie.
Or if people would just talk to each other.
Yeah.
What?
It says on my character sheet that I get a smartphone, so you can't take my smartphone away from me.
Right?
I can, temporarily.
That is a question regarding the starting gear.
Yes.
Is that a choice, or do we get everything under starting gear?
Well, let me look at your character sheet, because it depends on the phrasing. Boom.
I mean, there is something that says or, but like each little bullet
Where does it say gear?
under intro questions, between intro questions and starting decks. Second page.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you just get all of that.
Less. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, unless it says, it says like on the one bullet point, comfortable house or apartment.
Right.
You choose, right? A decent car, a smartphone. Yeah, you get all of those things.
Yay. Okay.
I am definitely picking sword as my weapon.
Cool. All right. Anyone else have questions about gear? Okay. Oh, excellent suggestion from Dorkler Canada. Pentumbra, right? Mashup of Penta and Umbra, the shadows. Yeah. And Penumbra is also is like the partial shadow, is like the edge of a shadow. So that's There are definitely some good options here. I've been brainstorming all week on what to come up with, and I thought I'm going to crowdsource it. This will be more fun if we do it together. So, especially if chat gets to throw something in there. I would really rather use something from chat. So, fingers crossed. We're seeing lots of good ideas come by, so I'm sure we'll hit on it eventually. Okay, so given that we've done our all of the crunchy bits, Does everyone have answers to their intro questions?
I should have looked at that before, shouldn't I?
Because how I want to do introductions is have you tell us, name, pronouns, physical description, right? If you know who would play them in the movie, I'd love to have that, as is my tradition. But that would follow with then you going through your intro questions and just answering those for us is a big component to each character is, what are you all about? So, does anybody know they just like dunked on their questions and they're ready to go? Pooja, your hand went up real fast.
No, I was just wondering if we could take a short break before we.
Oh,
get
that's a
into
great
this
idea.
section,
Actually,
'cause,
yeah.
like,
We've been on for a little bit. Yes, thank you. Excellent
Sorry.
suggestion. Thank you. I'm going to put up our 4-minute timer. If we need a little bit more than 4 minutes, we'll say so in chat in a little while. But thanks everyone for hanging in there. Keep those city ideas coming, and we will be back in 4-ish minutes. All right. All right, welcome back to Lollipop City, our Urban Shadows campaign.
Please call it Lollipop City. Now I need it to be called Lollipop City.
Dorkwood Canada, that is just an epic suggestion. I don't think I can go with it exactly, but it is going to be Lollipop City in the back of my mind forever.
Oh, Belle is definitely referring to this as Lollipop City from now on.
Uh-huh.
I feel like one of the islands is definitely like it's a city and each island has its own name.
Yeah. Just like the boroughs or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's also the lesser-known fifth circle, the Lollipop Guild.
No, they're just part of Mortalis. It's a faction. Okay. So we were just about to get into character introductions. Sorry, Pooja, did you say something? No? Okay. All right. So, does anybody have all of their intro questions ready to answer?
All? No.
I have like 3.
Let Bly start, and then I was just gonna I don't know, do it on the
Vamp?
fly. So yeah,
Do it live?
We'll let Bly vamp her way through them.
You have to get all the puns out now because the tone is supposed to be so different.
Yeah. Our actual, like, in-character tone is going to be a little darker, but we are goofy fucking people, so...
Who are you calling people?
Oh, whoops. The images moved. Jay went over to Joey's spot. And now...
Get out of here.
I ruined everything. There we go.
Okay, well, then I will start. When did you become a vampire is my first question. She became a vampire during the French Revolution. She's been a vampire a very long time. I've been in the city for 5 years. I move around a lot. Celeste is my most recent name. If you try to pin me down, you won't. Keeping cravings in check. I try to ration my meals accordingly, so I'm not just like murdering everyone in the city.
Mm-hmm.
If I am on a tight supply, I will sometimes steal from the local blood banks if I need to. I will do whatever I need to feed, but that's basically
Okay, so for the record, I think the way this is written, blood banks are not actually going to sate you. Because it has this risk built into feeding. The rest of that's fine. I just think we'll have to leave the blood bank off the table.
Okay, then yeah, I just try to ration based on how many kills I've had. And I also, in my debts, it sounds like I have someone who feeds me
Okay,
regularly.
great. Yeah, we can work with that. Oh, and also when you deal 3 harm to someone, most humans can like recover from 3. Like if you drop them off at a hospital or something, they could probably recover. It's on par with getting shot.
Yeah.
Like depending on where you get shot, you could survive. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess I kill the person and then drain their blood and then keep the blood as I need it.
Okay.
That's kind of the way I picture this. I'm going a little bit, I'm a vampire.
Okay. That is okay.
So it's like I try not to kill too frequently because I don't want people, I'm notable, but I don't want people to like catch on to where I'm killing and what my patterns are.
Mm-hmm.
Spend days and nights. I don't have a job. Do we have jobs? Like, how does that work in this city?
That's kind of up to you of like the imp has his shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
True.
It depends on whether, are you an active member in a faction within the Night Circle? If you are, then you have things to do for them all the time because they do things for you as well. If you're trying to be like almost call yourself a visitor in the Night Circle, then that comes with some tricky hurdles as well. So it really depends on how you want to be. I mean, you don't have to, like be a barista or something somewhere,
No, I was gonna say she's like a model or something. She hides in plain sight, basically.
Mm-hmm.
She does the you all know you all have seen my face, but you don't know that I'm a vampire, more than likely, if you're immortal.
Okay. But she can't go out in the sun, right?
It doesn't say that.
Okay.
I don't see anywhere in there. I was gonna pick. I don't see anything about how weaknesses work for vampires in this lore. So, it doesn't say I can't go in the sun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just decide, how much of a classic vampire story you want to tell.
I was gonna stick with like silver and stakes, and then I like to ignore the sun thing as much as possible because it's irritating.
Okay.
Just because then we have to. I mean, then it's like this always takes place at night, and I don't. If we can, I like freeing up the options as a whole.
Sure. Maybe she's just like me when I go out in the sun. Well, I'm annoyed.
He stays covered. It's not fun, but it's
Sure.
not like it's not gonna kill me.
Not gonna burst into flames or something.
No, but I think she's like wears long sleeves regularly.
Sure.
Has like in the sun, she has a big hat on.
Yeah, you're not gonna lay out at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
No, she does not like sand either.
Okay. It gets everywhere.
Yeah, but so she is an active member of the Night Circle. So at night, that's what she's doing, and during the day, if she has a job, she's like, I've been alive far too long to do like menial tasks jobs. I don't want to do that.
Plus, compound interest.
Mm-hmm.
100 francs deposited in a bank in 1789. Even if you didn't do anything with it, it's like, I don't know, $50 billion today or something. I don't know how banking works, but it's something in that vicinity.
Yep.
She's just been accruing money her entire life, so now she's like, I live a decent life.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
And I mean, so have all the other vampires in the city for the most part. That's fine. And one thing I want to note is, have you looked at your corruption move?
I have looked at. I think I have several, but I have.
Well, the trigger is
when I feed on an unwilling victim.
Right. So that means you'll need to figure out, do you have a method of doing this with a willing participant in most cases, and this is like an emergency thing? Like, if it's not, you're just going to slide down the corruption track in no time, which that could be a vampire story. So I feel like for the Night Circle, there is like a club where humans who are vampire junkies go. Like, this has to exist. There have to be people who are like into this. There's people into everything. Sure. Yeah.
And so you go there and you get willing people.
Sure. But that club is almost certainly owned by another vampire who you will then have to owe something to for the privilege.
That's fine.
Okay. Great.
I feel like it's something. It's like a circle members use this club. Like, the Night Circle members get to be it's like a special. You have a card. You get to go in.
Yeah, I imagine there are probably a few around the city that cater to different tastes, let's say. And
vampires. But yes, I imagine that there is like a place we can go where we can get willing and consenting victims, so that I'm not just murdering regularly.
Yeah, nobody wants to murder the regular way.
Fine.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to, because I'm curious about the way the corruption goes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get through everyone's intro questions, and then we'll come around to starting deaths, which is basically the relationship questions in this game. So, Jay, what are your intro questions?
Okay, so how did I escape my servitude? And I am imagining that so Belle was part of a whole cadre. Let's use that word because it sounds fancy. Of demons who are all sort of aligned with one very very powerful Prince of Hell kind of demon. And then we kind of all revolted.
Mm.
And did a mass kind of exorcism and banished that demon back to hell. And doing that sort of broke our servitude thrall situation. So we were all sort of en masse freed of that obligation. And gained, a good rep for power by, sending, let's just call him Azazel. Because that's always a fun demon-y name.
Yep.
Back to, the ninth circle, deep hell. Not just the suburbs, but
the hell.
Actual, right there in the smack dab Times Square of hell is where he's back. And so now we're kind of free to do our thing.
Okay. And if he were to gain some sort of power...
Oh yeah, he would like to come back and return to the old ways and also teach us a lesson or two.
Okay, but I do like the idea of a mass revolt.
Yeah.
And I think a big chunk of... Are you part of Wild?
I'm part of Wild, so I feel like there's a whole bunch of us, kids of Azazel, hanging out here in the city.
We all sort of
know each other.
Is since the imp and the fae are both wild, and we said all the islands were going to be devoted to one of the circles. What if the imps of Azazel were able to affect their freedom through a deal from the Fae, who are like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have to serve Azazel.
You should serve someone else.
We can help you.
Yeah, I like that.
For the low cost. But yeah, I think a really let's say just a prominent theme on Wild Island is this strong partnership between the Fae and the imp.
Yep,
exactly. And there are a lot of imps from Azazel's
there are a lot of us.
team.
A lot of the children of Azazel are hanging out on the Wild Island.
And Pooja, is the Tainted Wild as well?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we may be able to figure out how to tie that in as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But cool. All right. What else we got on your questions here?
And how long have I been in the city? And I'd like, along the lines, and maybe this will work with everyone, is I'd like it if we were part of, we've been here the whole time. We were part of the force,
we built
the energy
city?
that make the city. We built the city on rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I feel that's part of it as well. So we've been here this whole time, however long the city has existed.
Yeah.
We have.
Oh, I mean, okay, I'm down to change my answer into that.
Well, you don't have to.
You don't have to. You got here 5 years ago, but
I think he means the imps of Azazel.
Yeah, the imps
the children of
Azazel.
So, yep, we were here. We are part of the force that made the city, whatever that magic is that generates the power.
Yeah, what if Azazel was part of that original cadre that built the city, and the imps were his army of workers, right?
Yep.
And then the workers wanted to own the means of production.
Exactly.
Rose up against the man?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
the
okay.
man?
He's sort of a man.
He's masculine.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. All right. Well, who do you call family in the city?
Well, the other children. So we all sort of know each other. So that's my family.
The Azzies?
Just the children. We know we're just the children.
Okay.
We sit at the kids' table. We know.
Cool.
And then who do I turn to? I think actually it will be helpful if I turn to the Fae.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when
that
I'm in
makes
trouble.
sense. Yeah, I think there's a pretty clear partnership going on there.
Yep.
And I think it's probably the case that the Fae and like kind of demons in general are mostly outnumbered. You know, like werewolves breed like rabbits. You know, vampires can constantly make more vampires if they want to.
Always turn in somebody.
You know, the wizards can recruit. You know, they can train people. They can, you know, there's lots of ways for the other groups to grow their numbers. But Fae mostly don't leave the Feywild, and demons, for some reason, mostly don't leave hell.
Yeah. But also, I think, as part of our sort of like running away, I think the children work very hard to keep other demons out of this city.
Oh, okay.
That's part of our deal. We don't like your kind here.
Yeah, because you also run the risk of any of them could be working for Azazel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or
Okay.
yeah, be a way back in. And then who did I scam who still holds a grudge? And the answer is this should be like a circle.
Yeah, or an NPC. You could even get a specific NPC if you want, but yeah,
I feel
it could be.
like let me look at my circles again because I filled
And
those
actually,
in.
even getting more specific, let's come up with a specific Fey person that you turn to when you're in trouble.
Okay.
You know, as we sort of drill down on this. It doesn't have to be right this second, but just
Yeah, I'll work with Joey
Yeah,
because I've
we'll
got some
figure that out.
ideas and we'll figure something out there. But I don't want to step on Joey's Fayness.
okay.
And I think in terms of who did I scam, I think there's a very powerful wizard in the power circle because I've got a -1 in the power circle.
Well,
So there's
the negative one means you don't know them or understand them very well.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. Like, I don't know them or understand them because there's partly because a powerful wizard wanted. I promised them I was going to sell them something that would work, and I sold them a lemon.
Oh, you know what? There's a great pre-made anchor here on the GM sheet. Mrs. Lane, a wizard and owner of an exclusive 5-star hotel who lives for gossip. This could be like a rival business. I mean, you're not a hotel, but like she obviously trades in magic items and whatnot.
Exactly.
Just under the guise of a hotel instead of a literal shop.
Yep. And I scammed the crap out of her with a whole bunch of junk.
Scammed.
I enchanted just enough to get her to buy them. And then as soon as she got home, they all just fell apart.
And your character is called Belle?
Belle.
The, what is it? Coin, Bell, and Book? Is the
Bell, Book, and Candle.
Bell, Book, and Candle. Yeah. Excellent. All right, so Mrs. Lane is the wizard in question there. I like that.
Not a fan.
Okay. Let's okay, yeah, that's good. We got all of the imp questions. Let's see. Actually, the hunter playbook looks really fun too. Oh, I just scrolled to the Fae playbook, so that's the Fae book, if you will. So
Yeah.
Joey, you're on the spot.
Let's see if I can figure out some of these answers. Okay. Why did you leave your homeland? I think kind of going along with what Jay was saying, I like the idea that the Fae helped. What was the demon's name again? I'm trying to
Azazel.
Azazel.
Or is it like
That was one of those names, like, I'm never gonna forget that. I'm gonna write that down, and then immediately forgot it. So I think pulling from a bit of like Fae and Celtic mythology, where the humans tricked the Fae out of this realm into the Fae realm.
Yep.
We want it back. screw you guys, we're coming home.
Hmm.
So we're starting here, or at least my monarch started here. And so I think that was kind of what brought us out of our homeland was we want this island. And we're going to make a deal with these demons that want to overthrow their lord to make that happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think, why, and I was part of that original group that came forward we want this island. We want it. So yeah, that's why I left my homeland. How long have I been in the city? Well, I'm guessing for a pretty long time. If we came over and helped, how long ago was the overthrow?
How old is the city?
I think it's one of these things that's like, it's 20 years old, but people think it's been around for, like since California was established.
Okay.
They're like, oh, no, this is an old mining town or something in the middle of the ocean. What? Wait, that doesn't make sense.
All right. So roughly around then, it's like we helped Azazel build the city and then immediately stabbed him in the back and banished him to hell.
Oh, yeah, I think it was definitely built in the 1980s.
Yeah.
That was
beautiful.
But everyone thinks it's older. Well, the mortals think it's older. Most of you all know it's not.
Right. Right. I love that. So yeah, so about 20 years ago. Or if the city was built 20 years ago, we came in probably 15 years ago?
The 1980s was 40 years ago. Whoopsie.
Oh, God. That's the worst.
Yeah, 20 years ago was
The year 2000.
fun.
Yeah,
Why,
I
2K?
had a former student ask if he could take me out for a beer. And I was like, oh, yeah, actually you can. Like, this is... Oh, I also had a student tell me, she was like, oh yeah, my mom went to this school that I teach at. And I was like, oh, neat. When did she graduate? She's like, oh, 1993. I'm 90, you're 95. Like, your mom is the same. Yeah. If I had kids, it would be reasonable for me to have a 15-year-old. Like, that is...
I mean, whenever I tell people my parents' age, they always get a little freaked out because my mom graduated in like high school in like 91.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was the senior class when I was a freshman. Yeah.
Oh,
Cute.
Love it.
All right. So do we want to do the 80s for the formation of the city before we all age ourselves too much and just call it 40 years ago instead of 20?
Yep.
Okay.
1981, the city was established.
Okay. Then I'll say 35 years ago is when I came into the city.
Okay.
What do you love most about humanity? I think what... oh, by the way, my character's name is Ryan. Rian. Rosenthal. At least that's the name he gives you.
Uh-huh.
And I think what Ryan loves most about humans is, so I'm sure none of you understand any of this, but when you're around people who are in the same industry you are, particularly like in entertainment, where you constantly have to feel like you're on, and you're constantly on edge because everything you do is being judged and is gonna, how you are gonna get the next job and your reputation and all that stuff.
No, what's that like?
I don't know.
No clue.
Couldn't possibly relate.
Humans, you can drop that when you're around humans because humans aren't going to be looking for all those things. They're not looking for the advantage. They're not looking for the, you don't have to keep up those walls and be careful about how you say things and the way you phrase things, unless you're particularly manipulating them. But it lets you kind of be off.
Right.
And
you're not in constant danger of accidentally committing to something, or like they don't have that power to...
Exactly.
Like the average human doesn't have the power to bind you to something like that.
You kind of get to drop your defenses a little bit.
Okay. Let your hair down.
Yes.
Okay. I like that. That's a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Who is your closest confidant or lover? Because I'm going to go with lover. I don't know what he does yet. His name is Nate Kaplan.
Oh.
And I do know his name. He is played by David Cornsweet of the Hollywood miniseries. The main actor from the Hollywood miniseries. Love it.
And did you mention you're played by?
Oh yeah, I am played by Matt Bomer because it's time. It's time. I also did know. So going back to the stuff about my court, if we can, real quick. My former lover, who is my rival, his name is Claude, and I know that he's played by Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, great. I'm gonna have to do a call sheet for all this.
You're welcome for that call sheet, by the way. Enjoy.
The only thing that really matters is that Matt Bomer is number 1 on that call sheet.
Are you kidding? And so I don't know exactly what he does yet. I think he moved to insert name of city here, incredibly optimistic. Whatever he's doing, if it's being a writer, if it's being some kind of artist, or being whatever industry he wants to be in, I can figure that out later. He came here, like, moved from small town America to this city, so his overwhelming optimism is kind of what draws me to him. And I need to protect him from everybody because that poor sweet cinnamon roll. What do you desperately need? I don't know. Cookies. No. I think what I need.
Well, before you answer that,
Yeah.
have you fleshed out your? Did you decide everything on your court?
Yeah. So Baroque and formal
Yeah.
is the way my court is. I decided to go with the crown.
The crown, yeah.
because that just makes sense. And then my rival is a former lover.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, I remember you said that. Okay.
So I
yeah.
think what I need is I need to beat Claude.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I don't care necessarily how well I'm doing as long as it's better than him.
Yeah, and I think currently he is more highly placed than you
Oh,
are.
absolutely he is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think he used you as a stepping stone, which is probably why he's a former lover.
Oh, yeah. I think, it was definitely, him taking advantage of me
Yeah.
in that way to push himself forward. Like, oh, no, now you're coming down. Like, sorry about it.
Now
I'll burn the city down to get to you.
You've sworn loyalty to the monarch. Are you simply sworn or are you family?
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh,
That's not necessarily on here. I'm just you're loyal, and so I'm wondering, are you loyal because you're loyal, or are you loyal because you're royal?
You know what? I'm gonna go with royal. Why not? Why not be royal? Yeah.
Yes, royal.
Let's go with royal.
Okay. So I'm not gonna have you be like, next in line for the throne
God,
or something,
no.
but yeah, certainly prince is probably the wrong word, but you're, several heads away, but it technically in line for the throne.
Yeah. I like that. That gives it some gravitas and some agency. I like it.
Yeah. This is good.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all my intro questions. I did it. I
Okay.
answered all the questions.
Yay. Wait, so what did you desperately need?
To beat Claude into the drowned.
Nice. I empathize with that need so much.
I think, having heard all that, and having that one thing still lingering from mine, I think it would be interesting if Claude is the person I go to when I need help.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I didn't want to put that earworm in your ear, but I'm like, that could be fun.
Yep.
That sounds like a fun dynamic for our little crew here.
Yep. That sounds right. Okay. Well, let's see. The next I have here is the Tainted.
Yes. So, my character's name is Asmita. And
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
my character's name is Asmita, Asmita.
Thank you.
Felt that right. I'm shocked. Yay.
And I traded away my soul. Like, why did I trade away my soul? I did it because I thought I thought it was the only way to save my childhood friend.
Okay.
It turns out it wasn't. I was tricked.
Ding dang demons. So tricksy.
So, yeah, but now I've got this. Now I've got this contract.
Okay. And are we going with a sort of Judeo-Christian hellish demon kind of contract?
No, I think I'm gonna go with a more of like an Asura,
Yep. Cool.
more of a Indian or South Asian
Yeah.
Hindu-based deity system there.
Yeah.
Um,
They got loads of demons.
They do, and they have demons who are like a lot more on the spectrum
Yeah.
of like good evil rather than just straight up evil, which I quite
Yeah, it's less of a like demons bad, angels good, and yeah, the Asura are really interesting. That's awesome. Okay. So
and so
trade away your soul because you were tricked to save your friend, though. That still is your motivation, which is
former friend.
interesting. Oh, former friend. Okay.
I've been in the city between 10 and 15 years. I think I was here like as a child, and that's how like, and I was like, I got that call. It was like, you know, that classic kind of detective story, like noir kind of, I need you, come back. Like, you have to help me. Like, you're my only hope to save myself.
What if
And so I had left, was living my life, came back, and now I am here.
Okay, so you were born in the city, got out, and it pulled you back in.
Yes.
Oh, that's very juicy. I could sink my teeth into that.
That's my job.
Hey!
Got him.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, which fellow demonic agent do I loathe is actually that friend. Like,
Oh, they are also demonic agents now.
not now. They were. And that is why, like, it was a,
They faked being sick to get you to help.
and it was part of their plan and, like, their attempt to free themselves from their own contract.
Which, of course, backfired because that contract holder lied to them.
So they were trying to, like, replace themselves with a willing participant.
This is a real pyramid scheme.
So, but it didn't work. So they're still in the city working, and I absolutely despise them.
Do you have a name / sense of who they are?
I think I like to think of it as like, I don't have a name because names are really difficult, but
I could do that.
kind of a boy next door, real popular in school, like kind of a high school quarterback sense.
Chad.
Brad, Chad, Thad.
In fact, that's his name, Brad Chad Thad.
I like Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. Ooh.
And then yeah, so that now he's grown into that kind of smarmy used car salesman, inflated sense of his own importance.
Okay.
Childhood me had no taste is what this boils down to.
What a mood.
Okay. All right.
And then how do you cope with your demonic dreams and hungers? And this ties into kind of my fan cast, is that if you've seen Christian Bale in The Mechanic, but make Christian Bale like a South Asian woman.
Okay. You mean like because he got real thin and kind of emaciated?
Yeah,
And, yeah.
you can see like all his bones through his skin.
Yeah.
That my headcanon here is like my transformation into demon form and just housing all this power inside of me takes an incredible amount of energy. And part of how I cope with like all of this extra stuff going on in my brain is just constant consumption.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not picky about what I'm consuming.
Just
So.
eating all the time.
It's like eating, drinking. I smoke.
Uh-huh.
It's not a sense of like just gluttony, but just constantly taking things in.
Sure. Yeah, probably the act of taking it is what sates you. Yeah.
Yes. Like it's just that like I need constant input. It doesn't have to be caloric input.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be input.
What about I mean, I like the input idea. What about I don't want to say kleptomania because I don't want to make light of mental illness, but what if there's a little bit of a compulsive, like if she could pick something up and walk away with it, that would feel good too. Would that feel like part of it?
Yeah, it might be more of like a she is constantly buying things.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Retail therapy.
Yeah, in a way. It's like every time we go to a shop, I have to buy something. It doesn't have to be something big, but it has to be something. She carries a lot of random, and like therefore has a lot of random small things on her at all times.
Mm-hmm. And she can lose those things later, right? Like it doesn't matter what happens to it. It was the act of acquiring it.
Yes. It's the acquisition that matters.
So she's not a hoarder.
Like in a way that like, I mean, just sometimes she just goes out and it's like, is passing like, it's like, oh, here, you need this. Does not matter if the person actually needs that. That person now has this thing.
Yeah, your pockets are full. We're going to make room in your inventory slots. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, I don't have N.K. Jemison's like rooms full of cheese.
Does she have rooms full of cheese?
In Skyrim. I highly recommend anyone look that up because it's amazing.
Also, she's one of my favorite authors of all time. If anybody hasn't read the Shattered Earth series, I highly recommend it.
So yes, that's how I cope with my demonic dreams and hungers, is constant acquisition of things. And yes, I don't always have to buy stuff, but like, I mean, if buying is not an option, taking is definitely an option.
Okay. I will be sure to present you with some opportunities.
And then what
did you say what your demonic jobs are?
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
But what I desperately need is balance.
Aha. I like that.
And my demonic jobs are tracking down rogue demons.
Uh-huh.
And brokering demonic contracts. I think those are the two I'm going to go
Okay. Now, do you picture like the Asura and the, I don't know what, like a good general sense of the Judeo-Christian, hellish demon would be? Do you see them as interacting very much? Do they have understandings? Do they keep it separated?
I think they have deals and they have like, it's the same. It's more like these are two different wild factions.
Yeah.
And they're separate, but like they interact. They have like, it's not like a exclusive.
It's not like the Sharks and the Jets.
I mean, they probably have some like serious rivalries going because there's a lot of overlap in what they want.
Yeah.
But they're not like at war.
Yeah, well, and also like the Asura aren't like collecting souls to like, it's not the same cosmology of what the like Judeo-Christian tradition believes. So yeah, they kind of want different things in essence.
Yeah, so. I would say that they butt heads more with the Fae in terms of that because they have overlapping desires on wanting to claim parts of the city for their own power.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of, in Hindu mythology, it's that kind of the gods just to really super simplify, um, the gods protect like this plane from asuras in kind of a very base, super base way. That, but they could, if they could get a foothold, and then that foothold becomes a leg hold, and that leg hold becomes a body hold.
Yep.
So I like to think of it as like more in the sense that the Asura and the Fae would be more like, we both want this planet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Plane of existence, whatever.
Let's see. Oh yeah, this is fun too. So your demonic jobs, when you complete a job for your patron, mark wild. Your patron owes you a debt for every job completed. This is good. Okay, so what is did you decide on your demonic form?
I am going to there's kind of a they call it a serpapard, which
what
like,
now?
I think is a terrible name. There's like a leopard serpent mix.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Like it's a hybrid animal. And I think that that's going to be like, it's like the humanoid version of like, or bipedal version of like becomes a like leopard arms and kind of like basic body, and then her neck extends into a serpent form and her face elongates and becomes
Okay, so scariest form imaginable. That's
Yeah,
all you had to
could
say.
have just gone with that. Just
so if anyone has problems with that, sorry, I meant to double check the
Oh,
If
I
snakes
don't
are
have a problem with that. If anyone wants to weigh
Nope.
in, that's
Nope.
I'm
That's fun,
good.
scary.
yeah. Serpents
fun,
and snakes
scary,
I can
but-
do. I don't mind telling our audience like eels are on my lines list. Like I can't do them for some reason. But yeah, snakes don't bother me as much as that. So
Yeah.
I'm just
Cool.
a cold-hearted horror fan, so I'm like, yeah, this is fine. Everything is fine.
awesome. But thank you for double checking, Pooja. I do appreciate that. Okay, so is there anything on the demon form list that you particularly want to make note of?
let me
Because you don't have to pick those things. It's more like to like help spawn ideas.
yeah, I think what I think that thing like I really like is that the one thing that stuck out with me is the eyes
Mm-hmm.
empty.
Are they
That it's like a
literally empty? Like
hollow
there's nothing
black-
there?
It's kind of like looking into the void, and
Yeah.
the void
Okay.
wanting to eat you.
And does that are her eyes kind of like that even when she's in human form?
Yeah, I think that it's that, like, you could mortals mistake it for just like a real dark shadows.
Sure, like a lighting issue, or yeah. I imagine she wears sunglasses a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. But it's yeah.
I like it. Yeah, because it says when you assume your demon form. Yeah, so you do have like a human form that you're in most of the time, but then you demon out.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's and that's the thing is like kind of a cross like Christian Bale heroin chic kind of thing going on. But her words and charisma can kind of like gloss over that a little bit. Like get people because she has learned to deal with it and use it to her advantage in order to make people like take these contracts because she needs to.
Did you decide on your brutal weapon under starting gear?
I'm gonna go with the collapsible baton because if she needs something that will murder someone, she has her demonic form to
Yeah.
like fall back on.
Yeah. So the baton gives her an in-between option. I respect that. Okay. Did we do... Oh, yeah. We did the vamp intro questions. Did we... Is anyone left? We got all the intro
got 'em all.
questions. Okay, cool. I think we have a pretty good sense of who these characters are. So then the next thing would be is to go over starting debts. And then when we have those filled in, we have what's called the actual relationship questions, which on the GM sheet or the MC sheet, everyone's going to pick one and assign another PC to that slot. So if somebody picks one off of this list, nobody else can pick that one. But it's like a shared list of these. So if you find the pages, it says downtown. I think it's the second to last page in the playbooks document that I gave you, or just the whole document if you have that open instead. Yeah, it's the second to last. And then we'll just have you write down. And again, I'm going to make a spreadsheet later so we can keep track of all this. One of the things I like about this game is that there are a lot of moving parts and it's very political. But one of the things that's hard about this game is that there are a lot of moving parts and it's political. So I struggle a little. Who set up my window frame here? Who's the producer on this show?
I do not know.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, wait, it's you.
Oh no.
It's like my hair is cut off and I'm going out the top of the frame.
Sounds like me in college. I don't know what that means.
Title of your sex tape?
Sure, let's go with that.
Okay. Just all the talking mechanism stopped. Hold on. Rebooting. Okay. Dorkler candidate. Yeah, let me know if we get a solution to that. How do we ban the producer? All right. So, what I'd like to do is, rather than have one person do all of their relationship questions, I kind of want to do like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, just so we keep it moving a little bit more, because we've all had a good chance to like really dig into each character, and now I want that sort of back and forth web to build up.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are only 4 players. Everyone has 3 questions. I would love it if we got one for everyone, but if there's one on there that you hate, we don't have to do it, okay? Because you're still going to have your relationship question from the hub. That'll be an important link as well. But what I would really like... my allergies just went completely bonkers this week, and like all of my internal functions are on reset mode. So sorry for hacking into the microphone. So yeah, just to reiterate, my goal is hopefully we can assign all 3 of yours, even if we have to jig a little bit, and like reword and make it feel better to something that you want to actually answer. I certainly don't want anyone to do one that feels uncomfortable, but if we can get all of those plus a relationship one, which means you'll have 2 links to one other player, that would feel really good, I think. Worst comes to worst, I will grab a Decima relationship question if you really don't like one of the ones on your list. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. So why don't we just... I'm just going to go around the screen. Pooja, what's your first one?
Okay, so this is my starting debts questions?
Yeah.
Or... Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Sorry. You're protecting someone from a dark power, a rival and enemy of your demonic patron. Your ward owes you a debt.
Okay. So yeah, these are meant to be for your fellow player characters. Does that sound like a grenade anyone would like to jump on? I mean, you could be protecting your Fae, your fellow, you're not fellow Fae, but the Fae in the city. But I know you in particular don't get along that well with them, as opposed to like the imps are, sort of partnered up with the Fae.
I think that it might be interesting if, like, if Belle, like, it's one of those situations where, like, someone bought something from your shop and they want revenge for, like, what happened with that item.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
And I am protecting you from that person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like it.
And so, Jay, that also just implies that you needed protecting.
Exactly. That's fine by me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I do have a reputation for being a bit shady, so all of that tracks.
Yeah. And none of you are all powerful, or you would be running the city. So
Exactly.
All right. Joey, what's your first one?
Someone disrupted a rare ritual of your court for personal gain, besmirching your reputation with your monarch. They owe you a debt.
Someone disrupted a ritual?
Yeah, someone disrupted a rare ritual of your court for personal gain, besmirching your reputation with your monarch.
Okay. So, is there... What kind of ritual would be important to you, or would you be in charge of as royalty of the court? Are you responsible for like a solstice transition or some sort of holiday?
Yeah, actually, I do. I do like that. I think I'll figure out which holiday, but I do like the idea of like this falls on me and it's like my one responsibility that I have to do.
Yeah.
And
like you have to make sure at least 1,000 people in the city acknowledge this day, right? Or whatever it is, right? Like you have to, you every year you put out flyers and you put out some local ads and whatever. So the nature of that holiday might affect who wants to interfere with it. Does it say they did it on purpose?
no, just someone disrupted.
Okay, so it could also be an accident.
Right.
I mean, I don't know anything about wild stuff, so maybe I did just accidentally fuck it up and didn't mean to.
Yeah, you're like,
I was thinking
what's all
because
this then?
Because the way I'm imagining Ryan being, I imagine it'd be the ritual would be some sort of party, probably like some kind of big event.
Mm-hmm.
And if a vampire is going to do what a vampire is going to do, it's.
A lot of Fae mythology is based around hospitality and guaranteeing someone's safety at an event. And if somebody got hurt at the event, you would be responsible for that.
Yeah, I dig that. If that works for you, Blythe, I'm here for it.
Works for me.
You came in and you're like, yo, here's a bunch of people who are drunk off their asses and it'd be pretty easy to feed off someone and even not get them killed, you know? Like, oh, this is a good opportunity. I'll take this. And then
I can't turn down a good party. I just didn't know what the party was for.
Maybe that's even how you two originally became acquainted, is like you caused Ryan is you or Ryan's your friend?
Ryan is me.
Yeah. You caused Ryan's obligation to break because he didn't keep everyone safe at this thing. Technically, it's not like the reason you're not in Fae jail is because you didn't like Fae things didn't hurt the person, right? Like you would just be in Fae jail and for like 1,000 years. So you were given the opportunity to fix your mistake and make it right. I imagine maybe there was even a bit of tussle between Ryan and Blythe. What's the character's name again?
Celeste.
Celeste, that's right. I haven't written all this stuff down yet. I'm going to go back and re-listen later and just assiduously take notes. So, yeah, I think that could have been a bit of conflict early on.
Yeah, I take that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Jay, what's your first one?
My first one is someone is consistently a consistent patron or customer of my establishment, regularly relying on me for my services and assistance, and they owe me 2 debts. So, who here is often in the market for magical items and or creatures?
You know what? I'll take that one
All right,
because
that's
I
good.
need I just need things.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
think magically potent things satiate you even further. Satiate? Satiate, yeah.
So that, yeah, I like that because
Cool. I like it.
and I think because your thing is like also reliant on you for information, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe it's almost like not quite an informant level,
Mm.
but like when I'm tracking down rogue demons, I come to you for information on them.
And
While in there, I
definitely-
also buy stuff.
Yeah. Yep, and I definitely know about rogue demons.
And you
I got
also
my ear to the ground.
you know not to sell her garbage items, right?
No.
Like, because she actually knows the difference. So
Shmita gets the good stuff.
yeah. Cool.
Cool. I offered someone work when no one else would give them the time of day.
Well, hold
Make
on.
it
We're gonna go. We'll just do one at a time.
right. Yep.
Blythe, what's your first one?
Okay, let me. Someone make sure you get fed regularly without attracting too much attention, and you owe them 2 debts. So, who wants to? I kind of think this could play off of what we just established with Joey, where like
Mhm.
I went to your party and hurt people. I didn't realize what the party was for, and you were basically like, okay, don't do this again. I'll help you. And so we kind of worked out a deal maybe to where like I don't interfere with your parties now, but you make sure you help regularly get me fed so that I'm not.
Yeah,
fucking
I
crazy.
like that. I think maybe part of my penance for messing up the party, which wasn't my fault, is that I am now kind of
Oberon can't hear that
the Fey
phrase.
watchdog over you.
You are watching me very closely.
Right. So I'm like, as long as they keep you fed, you're not going to mess up anything else. We're good. So just you stop. Here's your food. Leave me alone.
Oberon has strong defense versus it wasn't my fault. It's not
Strong
very
defense
effective.
versus deflection.
And let's just reverse order. Blythe, what's your second one?
Someone relies on you for their fix. Ask them what you provide that keeps them sane. They owe you a debt. So, who am I? So, I'm a very rich, powerful vampire. Not powerful. I'm powerful, but I'm a rich lady. I can buy you shit. Or kill people for you.
I'll take that. Let's say, yeah. I mean, listen, it's a second-hand shop, and you've been around for a long time. So you have you give me lines on, estate auctions that are interesting and, items of note, almost an appraiser situation, maybe.
I like that idea.
Yeah, okay. So she supplies your shop with some of the better components that come through.
Yeah.
All right. And Jay, what was your second one?
My second one, I offered work to someone when no one else would give them the time of day. I get to ask them if it worked out in my favor, and they owe me a debt either way.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. Can you do that one more time?
So I offered someone work when no one else would give them the time of day. I get to ask them if it worked out in my favor, but either way, they owe me a debt.
So
Well, I don't have one with Joey yet.
I would say that might be like you, like after my besmirchment at the hands of Claude. Maybe you were the first person to like.
excuse me, the term is
extend some kind of-
besmirchification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Grammar's
you,
important to
you
me.
helped me find my footing.
Yeah. I like that. And it worked. Did it work out in my favor?
I
Or-
think it did.
I think so too.
Because I don't. No, I think I do know that. I didn't know at the time that you do stuff with Claude. Like Claude's your
Oh, yeah.
contact. I do now.
You do
But-
now.
Yeah, so I want to say it works out in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Cool.
you have any ideas what that job might have been?
Well, since I am very squishy, so maybe it was a protection versus my dear old friend Ms. Lane.
Mrs. Lane.
Mrs. Lane, sorry, Mrs.
I like it.
Yeah. She was real mad and sent some goons, and I needed some backup.
Here
Cool.
for it. I like it.
Great. Joey, what's your second one?
My second one is you are keeping something hidden on behalf of someone else from a powerful member of their circle. Ask them why. They owe you a debt.
This is good stuff.
Right? I mean, does anybody that spark
Well,
for anybody?
Who do you not have one with?
I don't have one with Pooja yet at all.
I was actually thinking about it. I'm like, so you're holding. You're keeping something. Yes, I did just. Yeah.
Or the kitty paw.
Oh, baby.
So you're keeping something secret for me from a powerful member
Well,
of my circle.
It's that he entrusted you with an important or dangerous task.
No.
Oh.
We're on my second one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am holding on. I'm basically holding on to something for a friend that you don't want members of your circle finding.
Right. So he is hiding something of yours for you.
Perfect. Yes, I will take that.
Okay.
And I think you are hiding something that I think might help get me out of my contract.
Oh, I like that.
Awesome.
We can figure out what that might be at a later time.
What's the cat's name again?
Frida.
Frida. I'd love seeing the little, it seems like you have a fake cat paw that you're, puppeting. But I know I have met Frida, and she's adorable. Even though she didn't want anything to do with me. It's okay.
It's not just you, unlike with Janet.
Yeah, Janet has singled you out in particular. Fuck this lady in particular. I'm dying to have you over to see if after all this time with limited amount of people in the house, if she will still be a shithead.
I'm excited to find that out as well.
Yeah, just to see if she's now so happy to see people that she can Get over whatever grudge she holds. All right, Pooja, what's your second one?
It is someone is trying to save you from damnation and keeps suffering for it. Ask them why they care when no one else does. You owe them a debt.
Okay. And who do you already have down?
I have a connection with Belle and Ryan. I have 2 with Belle, actually, and 1 with Ryan.
This could be interesting because my final one is that someone sold you out and betrayed me. And I kind of maybe like this idea that like I was like, I like you, I'm gonna, be your friend. But maybe the demon that you have the contract with doesn't like me and was like, oh, I might let you out if you betray her. And maybe we can like play with this. I don't know. It's a thought.
The only reason I'd be hesitant to do that is because that's how I ended up in a demon contract.
True.
And you don't want to repeat that cycle.
No.
And I might repeat that cycle, but it would take a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
Fool me once.
Well, since we don't have a connection, I could play the like I am basically just like gay mommy vampire who was like, oh, I like you, and now we're friends. You don't annoy me as much as other people your age.
Kids today.
Well,
I'm so old.
it could be. It's like, but you keep suffering for it.
Mm-hmm.
For what?
And I
What's
wonder
the whole phrase?
It says someone is trying to save you from damnation and keeps suffering for it.
Oh, well, that seems like lowercase suffering. Like they keep trying to help you, and
it keeps backfiring on them.
Yeah.
And kind of, well, what I was kind of wondering is like, if it's like you're getting like smeared with my brush, like through association.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, one option would be. Well, do you have one with Joey already?
I have,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
hiding something from me.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be me, just because we don't have one yet.
No, I think it would be good. I just want to make sure that you're cool with it.
No, yeah. I mean, I think for my character too, she doesn't. For her, she's like, I like you, and I've been around the block a few times. I can handle a little bit of a smear to my reputation.
Right. A little backstabbing, a little betrayal. It's it's Tuesday.
And plus,
I
what a
like
fun game to try to save someone who's damned.
She's
Right.
just
That's
like,
new and interesting.
I can
darling,
save
I was
her.
there when Marie Antoinette got beheaded. It's fine. Like,
Yep.
I don't care.
So why do you care when no one else does?
Okay, and we'll just reverse again. Pooja, what's your third one?
I hurt or killed someone's good friend or ally on my demonic patron's orders.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, so who is? So you have
And
one with
this
Joey
one-
and Blythe already, so that would be for Jay.
Well, I have 2 with Jay. I actually think that.
Well, wait, you only have 3 questions, right?
Oh, sorry. I meant connections in general. Like I write down
Oh,
the ones
yeah,
that they have with me too.
Yeah, I'm thinking with your outgoing questions. I want to
Okay,
try and
outgoing,
hit all 3 people.
I have Jay and Blythe now, and I think this one is perfect for Joey
Yeah.
because it makes sense that my patron would want to take out a fae.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and because the Fae have sort of partnered with some of the hell demons, that rather than the Asura.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just like, because we're rivals. Or our circles are rivals.
It's
Okay, so what does it say? You took out one of his friends?
I hurt or killed someone's good friend or ally,
Oh.
and I owe them a debt.
What
I like
what do you
that.
think fits there, Joey?
Yeah, I think I think it was a friend. I think it was another Fae. Probably. We'll come up with a name later. But I like the idea that maybe they were the third in this triangle between me, Claude, and them.
Mm.
And it was going to be, well, we'll join up, and then we'll take out Claude together. And then he got sideswiped by. We didn't see the demon in the corner.
Never put the demon in the corner.
No. Yeah, if that works for you, Pooja, I think. And that was probably what caused me to lose to Claude, because I decided to continue on in his name. Like, we'll do it together even if he's not here. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't do it one-on-one, unfortunately. If that works. I mean,
you know what I think would be awesome?
Go for it.
So Claude made a contract with my patron. Like, not all contracts are like, you know, you're going to work for me forever and I own your soul.
Yep.
Claude had a contract with my patron, and the upside of Claude's, like, for Claude was to take out this third person. And the upside to my patron was partially, like, destabilize the Fae, and partially something else that Claude owes my patron.
Yeah. You prevented the Fae from consolidating power. Yep. That's
I like
good.
it.
All right. Joey, what is your third question, and who is left?
Left would be Jay.
Okay.
And this question is, you entrusted someone with an important and dangerous task. Ask them if they succeeded or failed. If they succeeded, you owe them a debt. If they failed, they owe you a debt. Oh, also, Pooja, on that last question, what does the debt look like? Does that mean you owe me a debt, or
yes, I owe you a debt.
Yay!
The Tainted starts off really in debt to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. They really got screwed over.
So yeah, I entrusted someone with an important and dangerous task. Ask them if they succeeded or failed.
Maybe you were supposed to hold on to something for him, Jay.
Oh, yeah, that totally sounds right. And I failed. I 100% sold that shit.
Oh, you sold it.
Oh,
I was thinking maybe you got
absolutely.
robbed, or...
No.
Did you tell Ryan that you got robbed?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Did you sell it to Claude, you asshole?
Did you sell it to me?
Yes. I actually, I don't know. I think I like Claude on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because I'm constantly buying things from your shop.
Yeah.
You are, but this one, I definitely...
I don't want it to turn up right away, since you two already know each other. If Claude has it and Ryan doesn't know that Claude has it yet.
Exactly. It's some Fae artifact thing.
Yeah.
That Ryan was like, this is really important to me, and it's really important to my people. I need you to keep it locked away. And I said, sure. Immediately called Claude, and then was like, the shop was broken into, and they took a bunch of things. Too bad.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Weird how that happened.
Also, look at my new
I
Ferrari.
love this. I have 3 debts on Celeste, 2 debts on Asmita, and 1 debt on Belle. Let's go.
As in, they owe you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Who do you owe?
No one.
You owe me, I think.
Oh, what?
No, he feeds you.
No. Jay owes me. Sorry, I messed up.
Yeah.
Joey, no, Ryan owes me. You owe me for using you as security against Mrs. Lane. You owe me.
Oh, wait, I owe you for being security?
Yep. I hired you when no one else would.
Oh, that's right. I just didn't write it down because I didn't write down debts that I owe. I just put the debts that I owe are owed to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty
That
hard to
works.
get out of this without owing someone something.
That's why I was
Yes.
like, did I do it? Did I win?
Yeah, that's how you win Urban Shadows.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go through and figure out the debts.
It'll be on the spreadsheet. I'll have like a grid of like
Mhm.
O's is owed, and then have the like flow chart of
It's a logic puzzle.
yeah. Okay, so Joey, that's all of yours, right?
That's all of mine, yeah.
All right, Jay.
And so for my last one, it's Celeste. She's the only one I don't have an answer with, and it's I partner with her on my schemes, and we profit in equal measure.
That's
Ooh.
perfect, because one of my questions was, what scheme are you currently involved with? And I couldn't think of anything, so this works out real well.
Oh yeah,
I like this.
yeah. I think you and I are always, I mean, in a way, with all of your money bags, you could be my silent partner in Bell's Emporium.
I like that.
And so we're sort of, it is mutually advantageous.
Cool. It also makes sense why I would go out and get stuff for you then, because I'm like, well, now I'm invested in this place, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Pooja, your
So-
character is ASMITA.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm updating
So
that. Yeah.
functionally, though, we each owe each other, I think it's two debts. Celeste.
So I owe you 2 debts and you owe me 1 debt, I think.
No, I owe you 2 debts,
Oh.
and you owe me 2 debts. For this one thing.
Oh, okay.
That one question, the answer is we both owe each other 2 debts.
Okay, so we need a spreadsheet.
Yes, we do.
Yep, we will have a chart.
And Blythe, just so you know, I've made a decision. It was a Beltane ritual. It was a big fire island type party with actual fire.
Mhm.
And
With an actual party this time?
with an actual party. Oh no, not a fire, not the fire festival, Fire Island.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
But yeah, and that's what you did the bad.
I wrote that down. I also came up with why Celeste is into helping Asmita. And it's because basically she feels bad that you got tricked into something, because that's basically what happened to her. Like, she doesn't go into the gory details of it. She's like, yeah, I didn't always want to be like this, and if I can help you get out of it, I'm gonna help you get out of it. You remind me of me when I was younger. So basically it's just the like, I'm gonna help save you. I am beyond saving, but you are not.
Right. Jay, what's your character's name again?
Bell.
Oh, Bell, yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm updating our name tags here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, geez.
I won't make you put all the fancy accents on the French Celeste.
I'm not gonna, so we're good. All right. So Jay, that was your last one?
That was my last one.
All right. Blythe, what's your last one?
It can't be. It can't be Asmita, so it's gonna have to be someone else. But it's basically someone recently sold you out to one of your enemies. You avoided the worst of their attacks, but your betrayer owes you a debt.
Okay.
Unless we
Who do
want
you
Ryan to
have?
make-
Who's
I
already
have-
connected?
I have
would
Ryan
be.
and I have Bell. I don't have an Asmita, but I don't want to put you in that position after what we just talked about.
Well,
We kind of just need an alternate question.
Yeah, okay, that's possible. Also, it could be, not selling you out to her demon, like that.
Or just, I mean, to one of my enemies in general, and I just
Yeah.
would do that.
But if that feels incompatible, Pooja, we can certainly get something else.
Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know. It feels too close to what my backstory already is.
Yeah, okay. Oh, here they are.
I wonder if there's something we could play. Yeah, we could also do alternate questions, or if there's something we can play on with the suffering aspect from the other relationship.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Instead of you betraying me, maybe it's just that because I associated with you, like one of my enemies found out something, like I got clumsy based on trying to help you or something. So it's not not a direct betrayal, but just like,
Yeah, because I think the real value is like what debt is owed,
Mm-hmm.
and then if we honor that, then I think the balance works out.
Yeah.
So maybe in this case, it's that I helped you, and it made me public to an enemy I didn't want to be public to.
Sure.
Yeah, you were exposed. Yeah.
So does that work?
So then Asmita owes you a debt.
Mhm.
Okay, just one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Though
Yeah.
this makes two.
good fix. I like that. Okay, so the last thing we have to do, we're almost done. Does everyone have that the downtown document at the end of the playbooks handy?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. So
Taking notes. Okay.
at the bottom of that is the relationships questions. If you want to look through those, it's first come, first serve. So whoever slaps down an answer and the other person agrees, then that question is gone from the list. So let me know if you see one and buzz in when you're ready.
Okay. Are
Okay.
we?
Is this anchors or relationships?
Relationships.
Okay.
My question.
Is
Bell is buzzed in.
I'm buzzing in. Asmita recently became the owner of a legendary artifact that I've been trying to get my hands on for years. And she refuses to part with it, but I'm determined to change her mind. And like everyone, I'm looking for that magic item that will get her out of her deal.
Does that work for you, Asmita?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So this is Bell, and Asmita recently became the owner. Okay. Cool. That question number 3 is taken.
Out.
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna take the. I just don't know who I got in the argument with, but I was involved in elder vampire schemes, and I made a false promise to keep you off my back.
Which question are you looking at?
That would be,
Second to the bottom.
yeah.
Oh, you and Blank got in a heated argument over your recent involvement in elder vampire schemes. What false promise did you make? Yeah, sure. Okay, so who do you want to link into that?
Belle, because we're so interconnected in our scheme.
Mhm.
And you were upset that I was involved, that I decided to get involved with this other scheme, and because my loyalty is still to vampires, I basically was just like, yeah, I'll help you get that artifact from Asmita. Yeah, I'll totally do that, and I haven't at all helped you do that.
Man.
I do need to make a brief aside for a chat crime that has been committed.
Oh God.
Dork Lord Canada. If Celeste is Belle's silent partner, then that answers the question for whom the bells toils.
Oh my god. Yep, that's a crime.
Yeah.
Call the cops.
That's
You
beautiful.
have been found guilty and sentenced to continuing to have to listen to our show, Dork Lord Canada. Your punishment shall commence immediately. Okay.
I'm gonna take the you and blank go shopping at the ferry market every Sunday. What
Oh.
underground scheme did the two of you accidentally uncover there last week? And I'm going to say that Celeste and I go shopping every Sunday. Like the besties that we are.
That's great. Neither of you are welcome there, but that's, I mean, it's open, right? It's not like they're going to kick you out, but everyone's giving you stink eye.
In what underground scheme did the two of us accidentally uncover there last week? I think there was I think we accidentally came across like a smuggling ring.
Oh yeah.
How about maybe the Fae are smuggling like demon parts, like hellhound hearts, and you know, cursed livers, and you know, like.
Oh, you know what? It's kind of like they are smuggling in demon parts for wizard rituals. Like they are it's an illicit like ritual supply ring.
Yeah, because they have some partnership with the demons, and they're taking advantage of that to like get their hands on some things that, so they can link up with other circles and try to get
Exactly.
leverage. And okay,
And we accidentally stumbled upon the whole thing.
the demon meat market.
Them's good demon.
Yeah, demon
I just
meat.
think of the Lord of the Rings scene where he's like meat's back on the menu.
Yep.
Yes. Who knew the orcish word for menu?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so smoky.
Okay. So I think I found one, and then I'm figuring out a bit more what this character looks like and what their current situation is. And I think part of it is he has to do odd jobs to make ends meet sometimes, even though he doesn't want to. And so I think while doing some delivery work for a few of the more popular eateries downtown, I caught blank in a scandalous situation. What did they offer to buy your silence, and why is it still not enough?
I'd love to find Belle in a scandal.
That's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
Damn,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds like me.
So, Belle, what did they catch you doing?
I think because I've marked mortals or mortalis relatively high, I think that I've been breaking the rules about selling magical items to humans, like not magicians or wizards, just to people.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I've just been like handing those out, kind of against the rules.
And then what did you offer to buy my silence?
To work my influence to try to get you. Well, no, I think that's what you want. Your pick of my goods.
Yeah, I could see how
When-
that's not enough.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a nice start, but what I really want is information on Claude, you ass.
Nope.
All right, that's good. Oh, that's some tense bullshit. I love it. And look at that. It is 12:57. Could not have orchestrated that any better. So that's going to be it for us today. Episode 0 is a wrap. Let's go around, say who you are and where folks can find you. I added your Twitter handles to your name tags on screen if you didn't see that. So that's available, or maybe double check, make sure I spelled it right. And we'll start to my right this time. Blythe playing Celeste. Who are you and how did you get in here?
Hello, everybody. I have been Blythe Kala. You can find me across the interwebs, the Twitters, the Instagrams, the Twitches, the YouTubes, all under Blythe Kala 93. That is BLYTHEKALA 93. I'm really excited to see what happens with this game because I love like dark fantasy, supernatural stuff. So I am very, very excited to play Celeste and see where she takes me.
Excellent. Jay?
Hi, y'all. Jay Holtham here. You can find me on the socials at Jay Holtham in all the places where people social. And I am just super excited to get up to some evil schemery.
Awesome. Joey?
Hey guys, I'm Joey. You can find me on Twitter at Joey Nestra, also on Facebook by that, because that's my name. Catch me on Twitter. I have opinions about things like Marvel and the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race that happened last night. I've got some opinions. I understand why things are the way they are sometimes, but doesn't mean I don't have opinions. But yeah, that's all I'm really streaming right now is this, but keep an eye on the socials for hopefully more coming soon. And I will see you guys next week.
Awesome. And Pooja?
Hi, I'm Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at LADesigirl. That's LADESIGIRL.
First try.
First try. And pretty much everywhere else is Forgotten Saves. If you want to hear more of role-playing goodness, I am on Happy Jacks RPG. Tomorrow should be our possibly our ultimate session of Murmurs at the Abyss. I call it Cthulhu over there with them. And then I am also on the 12-Sided Stories podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see where all this goes. I owe so many people so many things.
And my name's Jason. The channel is It's Probably Okay. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at It's Probably Okay. I'm streaming here Wednesdays and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can look at the schedule below. I've also been streaming every other Monday at Happy Jacks again lately on the Traveler show that Bill Roper is running. I think I have at least one more episode. We'll see if they're going to keep me around or not. It may go from like guest star to recurring star. So is that the transition point?
Close enough.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I don't know these terms, and I work with people in the industry and make them feel bad. So, but on Wednesdays we wear death, and I was this week years old when I realized the acronym for my Wednesday stream is OW death. Those are video games that are hard and you die a lot, and I've been playing a lot of Valheim, so that fits together. On Fridays is a more chill Valheim experience, although it's still a very exciting adventure with my friend Sam DeLev. We have a 2-screen setup for that. Your Saturday morning cartoons have become somewhat darker, but here we are with an ominous storyline and a city fraught with problems. And then Sunday evenings, I do a developer's diary where I work on my game Demigods. We're trying to crank out the text for the book and get that ready for print. So I'm usually on about 8:30 p.m. PST following Minerva Fox's art hour, and then we have a bit of chit chat in between the shows on our Crossing the Streams series. So you can find all that there, and that's pretty much it. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. We will be back next week for proper episode 1 of Urban Shadows, title to be determined, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.